It's a beautiful day in Fishersville, Virginia today, and I'm talking to Tyler about NBA basketball, and maybe you all don't know just how much of an NBA basketball junkie I am. When it comes to playoff season, I am up almost every night watching a game until like 1 o'clock. And so if I look sleepy today, so the Warriors are my team, Steph Curry, but it's always a fun time of the year for me. And when you're into basketball at almost 70 years old, I think it keeps you a little young. And so I'm feeling a little tired, but for good reason today. So on the subject of what's going on in the world, we live in strange times where people are, I think, worried as much as I've seen in a long time. And of course, there's always something to worry about. And one of the areas that I've been writing in our newsletter over the last couple of weeks is things that you see on the internet about the potential of a government sponsored, or in this particular case, central bank digital currency. Now, most people don't even know what that means, and and I'm not an expert on it, other than it's an alternative. Instead of dealing with your local bank and the normal payment systems, you would eventually be dealing directly with the Federal Reserve in a digital currency. And let me just say up front, several people have called me over the last 2 or 3 weeks and real concerned about the potential of what this could mean to consumers and bank depositors. And I will have to say that I believe that there is a lot of misinformation out there. And yet I am not a person that is real trusting of our government. And so the people who tend to be conspiracy theorists believe that eventually, if we go to a government-sponsored digital currency, that the government can surveil all of your financial transactions, and that they could even prevent you from buying and selling things through that digital currency. Now, that is the big extreme concern, and I think that the other concern is could they even steal your money? Now, I'm just not believing that today. What I do know is banks have been given permission by the Federal Reserve to begin a test program starting in the next 2 or 3 months. Called Fed Now, and it is a voluntary program through the banking system that banks will create a digital currency platform, and they will tell you that there are positives about this, that it's instant transactions. Currently, in this program that is being looked at starting I think the date is actually July the 1st, that if it were successful, the real question would be, well, why would you need to go to a federal program where you're dealing directly with the Federal Reserve? If this banking system digital currency works, why not use that instead of a government program? And the reason I bring this up is I think since COVID, a lot of things have happened and has changed everyone's view of a lot of things, especially with the government. And I think for good reason. On many of those cases, I think the vaccine and wearing masks and shutting down churches and shutting down schools and shutting down businesses, people have become very leery of government rules. And I believe that there is a lot of legitimate concern that there are people in our country that would like to take our economy to a socialistic economy, which I think would be disastrous. And as a financial advisor serving my clients, it's my duty, I think, to warn people of the potential of what's out there. And in this particular case, at least try to give you adequate information so that you don't worry about it, and to give you alternative ways to how to deal with this. So this is one thing I want to say is I am continually researching this. I'm looking at articles, and I'm trying to discern the difference between hype and truth and misrepresentation and just outright lies. And I'm doing it with a skeptic's view here. I am very skeptical of our government. At the same time, I have to keep my eye on the big prize for my clients. And so we serve clients who are at or near retirement, and they hand over to us sometimes $300,000, $500,000, $1 million to parlay that into a monthly income that will last for the rest of their life. So I don't want our clients and our viewers here on this Facebook video to be so paralyzed by fear that you just put your money in the bank and say, I'm not going to invest the money. I am a big believer in diversification. I believe that you should have a bucket strategy in place when you retire. And what I mean by a bucket strategy, I believe you should have a bucket that represents safe money that could provide you an income of anywhere from 7 to 10 years. I believe a second bucket to give you a conservative growth to replace the income after that first 8 to 9 years. And then I believe in a portfolio of stocks for the long haul. And when we look at our clients in a bucket strategy, and we're looking at bucket 3, that is money that we don't believe that they'll need to touch for 15 to 20 years. And then our job is to pick investment company managers that know how to pick good investments in the stock market, a combination of growth stocks and a combination of dividend-paying stocks. And my advice today is this. Hopefully, we are able to separate the hype and the misrepresentation from the actual news. And we will be continuing to research this. And when we know things that we can deliver to you in the form of this is what is happening, that it will help you relax and to know that what the federal government is considering will not be something that would be disadvantageous to your retirement, to your money, to your ability to sleep at night. So, we do live in crazy times. I'll be the first to admit to that. I believe, biblically speaking, we're in the last days, and because of that, we have to be very wise in what we do as financial advisors, and so that we can help you make good decisions with your money. So, with that, I hope you're enjoying the spring, although I went to see a granddaughter's softball game Tuesday night and totally froze. Ended up in the car with the heater turned on to 85 degrees. And luckily, I've got a grandson playing basketball this weekend, and then I'll go see a soccer game Saturday, and hopefully it won't be 52 degrees and the wind blowing. So I hope your weekend is good, and I hope you're finding a church to attend. Bridge Christian Church is my church, and I can tell you that the crazier the world gets, the more important it is to find the truth. And I can tell you, church is just not a place to go so that you can sleep at night. It's a place to go to get the Word of God and His Son Jesus, and the wisdom that comes from Christ. Not only is good for eternity, but also good here while you're on earth. So with that, hope your weekend is good. We'll talk to you next week.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA and SIPC. Cornerstone Wealth Advisor Group is a separate entity from LPL Financial. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. During this segment, we may discuss specific investments. These discussions are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for anyone listening to the show. Please consult a qualified legal, tax, or financial professional prior to investing to determine what is appropriate for you. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal.
The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. There is no guarantee that a diversified portfolio will enhance overall returns or outperform a non-diversified portfolio. Diversification does not protect against market risk.